Hello, Ivan.
Hello, teacher.
So today we are talking about. So we are going to practice these
Reddit.
questions.
Read.
Where,
Where.
how,
How.
who,
Who.
how long,
How long.
and how often.
How often.
Let's start. So, where do you go?
I go to candy store.
Yes, and how do
Candy
you,
store.
candy store? Yes,
Candy
s-
store.
Yes, how do you go to the candy store?
I go to I go to candy store by bus.
Yes, by bus. And who do you go to the candy store with?
I go to candy store with my mom.
And how long does it take you to get there?
It took me 30 minutes.
Yes, all right. And how often do you go there?
I go to candy store 3 times a month.
Yes, very good. And where do you go?
I go to the cinema
How do you go to the cinema?
by scooter.
Yes, by scooter. And who do you go with?
I go to the
Cinema.
cinema with my
Girlfriend, yes. And how long does it take you to get to the cinema?
It took me 15 minutes.
Minutes, yes.
Minutes.
Yes, and how often do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema twice a month.
Twice a month, yes. And where do you go?
I go to Japan.
Yes, and how do you go to Japan?
I go to the Japan by plane.
By plane. And who do you go with?
I go to Japan with
my relatives.
With my relatives.
Yes, relatives. And how long does it take you to get to Japan?
It took me 5 hours.
Hours, yes. And how often do you go to Japan?
I go to Japan once a year.
Once a year, yes. And where do you go?
I go to Da Nang.
Da Nang, yes. And how do you go to Da Nang?
I go to Da Nang by van.
And who do you go with?
With my family.
Family, yes. And how long does it take you to get to Da Nang?
It took me 7 hours.
7 hours, yes. And how often do you go to Da Nang?
I go to Da Nang twice a month. Twice a year.
Twice a year, yes, okay. And where do you go?
I go to playground.
Yes. How do you go to the playground?
I go to playground by bike.
And who do you go with?
With my brother.
Yes. And how long does it take you to get to the playground?
It took me 10 minutes.
Minutes, yes. And how often do you go to the playground?
I go to playground once a week.
Yes, once a week. And where do you go?
I go to restaurant.
Yes. How do you go to the restaurant?
I go to restaurant by van. By car.
Yes, by car. And who do you go with?
With my friend.
Yes, and how long does it take you to get to the restaurant?
It took me 20
20.
20 minutes.
Yes, and how often do you go to the restaurant?
I go to the restaurant 4 times a week.
Yes, and where do you go?
I go to the island.
Island, yes. How do you go to the island?
I go to the island by ship.
Yes. And who do you go with?
With brother.
Yes, with my
brother.
parents. Parents. And how long does it take you to get to the island?
It took me 3 hours and
Hours?
oh,
Hours? 3
Hour.
hours?
It took me 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yes. How often do you go to the island?
I go to the island twice a week.
Twice?
Twice a year.
Twice a year, yes. And where do you go?
I go to my English class.
And how do you go to your English class?
I go to my English class by motorbike.
Yes. And who do you go with?
With sister.
With my
sister.
And how long does it take you to get to your English class?
It took me 15 minutes.
Yes, okay. And how often do you go to your English class?
I go to my English class 3 times a week.
Yes, okay. Yes, very good. Good job.